All right, I am here with Boxing 5 promoter Larry Wainstein ahead of another tournament on September the 20th. Another big one, development bull topped off with a sequence right at the top. Very exciting to have him obviously back on the tournament. Let's start from the beginning of the tournament. You're opening up with a 4-round welterweight contest. John Paul Khanani coming from Sebastian Rothman's gym. He'll be fighting a DRC boxer Chizubu. What do you make of that one to open up the fight?
So he's been on our tournaments before and he put up a good show, and that's what happens with fighters that we put on, and they show us a bit of potential. We continue with them. So I think it'll be a good fight to kick off the bull with, so I think it really is good. So for me, we're back in action close. It was July the 13th and now we're into September the 20th. So also just to mention that all our tournaments from here on in will be featured on the zone, and which we were very thankful for. We had Lerato fighting in Japan, and we had the rights for the content, and which was shown. And so what has happened was we were going to do it on the 21st. But then they told us that they have got Anthony Joshua fighting Dubois. So, look, not this tournament, but maybe later on we'll compete with that caliber, because our boys are getting there, but not just yet.
I wanted to say as well, so you can keep the mic, Larry. I'll just ask a question from here. Sure. Joshua Feldman, he missed out literally in the last second on the last tournament, but you continue with him obviously on this bull, and he'll be fighting a fresh new opponent from Malawi, Muyaya. Obviously good to have Joshua Feldman on the tournament.
Yeah, it is. You see, we plan our tournaments at the beginning of the year and try and plan the fighters that we're going to put on. The problem that you have is when you put these guys on and the disappointments they get. I mean, Joshua got a disappointment. He was taped up, gloved up, ready to go, and then the fighter couldn't fight because he was ill. And then there was another boy that was on the bull at the weigh-in. There was a problem with his fight. So that's 2 fights from our last fight, our last bull. So that's why when you look at the bull, there's 10 fights, because we have to put those guys on again. We don't want to disappoint them. They were disappointed enough. I mean, Josh was in, I know you won't mind me saying so, he was in tears because he couldn't fight. That's what it means to the guys to be put on the tournament. So anyway, that's why you see we got to also try and keep our rounds down, because you're only allowed so many rounds. And so now you've got 10 fights, but a lot of it's 4-rounders, 6-rounders, 8-rounders, and we only got 1 10-rounder. So that's why it also then makes adjust so that we are able to put on these fights.
And just as you mentioned it, the guy that missed out last was Jesdel Kanyembe.
Jesdel Kanyembe.
Number 3 of the evening. He's also got a fresh opponent.
Yes.
Dennis Bamba, who's with Raymond Kapula. Another good fight.
Yeah, that will be a good fight, because they go both from the DRC. So, let's see what happens. We'll see who the DRC crowd is shouting for. It'll be quite interesting to see.
Split down the middle.
Yeah.
It'll be a good one there. And then Bernie Pellman's Siam Tando Wapela coming up against Thabo Moabi. Good to have Siam Tando back on the bull as well.
Yes, as you say, back on the bull. He fought once before and he impressed us. He did, he's got a bit of potential. So again, we bring him on. He missed the last one, but now we're putting him on, because that's how we plan for our boxers. They can't all fight on every tournament, but then we make sure that they fight regularly.
And then the long-awaited return of Samir Muller. He obviously changed trainers, changed gyms, and
yes.
Are you expecting an improved version of him as well?
Well, I hope so, because he has got the potential, and having looked at his last few fights, he was almost at a stage where he's doing well, but the improvement wasn't there. It was sort of, and not knocking anyone, his previous trainer that brought him along. And, you've got Damien Durant, who's been with, and the one thing I liked about it was when we said he's moved to Damien and we said we want to put him on, Damien said he's not right, and Samir Muller said he's not right yet. But then they phoned us and said, we're ready, we'll take a fight. So that to me shows he's being managed properly, and it's not just taking fights. So that impresses me, and I think you will see an improvement.
Definitely. And And then we step up to the next one, Mitsi Creed Moo, another exciting talent, always brings a big crowd with him. He's originally from Zimbabwe. He'll be taking on Faraday Mukandila, also from, I believe, Raymond Kapula's gym.
Yeah.
A nice step up for Creed.
Yeah. You'll see in the last few tournaments, or last few months, sorry, not tournaments, months, we've had guys that have signed with No Doubt Management. They've been fighting and they weren't signed up with Colin, but Colin was taking care of them. And he's one of the guys that was signed up, a new signing, and he's very excited about it, as we are, very excited, because he is an exciting fighter. He's now 6-0, I think, if I'm correct. And he just loves it, and he was telling me the other day in the gym, I'm no more fighting just for myself. I've got a little daughter now, I'm fighting for her. So it just shows you what it brings out in the guys and what this does, what it means for them.
I think, yeah, so for him, he came out really good in the last fight, so we're expecting him to continue with that. You bringing in one of Alan Sawil's boxers, Bangil Nangan, and he'll be fighting a tough boxer in Njabulu Buthelezi as well from KZN.
Yes. So, you know, as Alan Tawil and myself and Colin, we've got an affinity with Colin and I, because it goes back to historically with my brothers. His father trained, and we always try and fit Alan's boys in. And he approached us, said, please, his boy needs a fight. He's an ex-SA champion. He's gone up in the weights. He just needs to get him started. And so we agreed to put him on. And they accepted the fight with the fighter. You know, I know we've seen the fighter there. He's actually being looked after by Laduma. So, and Laduma knows both of them. He knows Bambile. So it'll be interesting. But Alan was very complimentary and happy that he's got a fight.
I believe that will be one of the fight of the night potentials. And then, of course, another flyweight battle, and perhaps, you know, Sotumela will line up with one of the winners of the previous fight. But Sotumela coming up against Sele as well. A nice fight for Sotumela. Of course, he wants to fight for the South African title really soon as well.
Well, we've already sort of made inquiries into him fighting for the title. But he's a fighter that's amazed me, because he was one of the guys that filled up the card and put him on, and you know, and he just carried on training, and suddenly he's just come out of himself, and the confidence is there, and he's just become so noticeable, you know, even with his socials and that, and it amazes me how the confidence, how it's changed. You can see in his fights, he's a different fighter, and he's bulked up, he's got strength, not he's gone up in weight, but he's become, his last few fights. That boy that he fought was going to fight DJ Creel, and we were a bit concerned about him, and he just took him on. I mean, he's also a well sort of contended fighter, and he took him out. He really sorted him out. So I'm very excited about Frank, really am.
Who's Frank?
Yeah, who's Frank? Let's not start.
Then you got the co-main event of the evening. Now, this is an exciting young talent, Katleko Kanisa. He obviously trains out of Hot Box Gym with Colin Nathan. And he's being matched against the former KZN champion, Sandile Dumisa. That should be an interesting bout. Yes.
You know, we actually, because of his reputation and because of how he's been sort of performing on our tournaments, nobody wanted to fight Kat. So we had to go out and see where we'd get someone to fight him. And he's late, put into BSA quite late, because we only just finalized his opponent 2 days ago. So, but he's a very exciting fighter. And I mean, he was the Gauteng champion in the division that he was in, and now he's come down a division. So he's got also, I think he's 7-0, was he 8-0 now? I'm not even sure.
Yeah, he's 7-0.
7-0. So he's another one of our exciting guys coming through the ranks.
Two ex-provincial champions coming up against each other. And then the main event of the evening sees a boxer that we can consider world rated as well, Siko Nokotole, and he'll be coming up against someone that we've seen at Boyson's previously, Japara Muka from Namibia.
Yeah.
That's the main event of the evening.
Yes.
Talk to us about the main event.
You know, I gotta love Colin and my partners in Boxing 5, because we try and do international fights, and then we'll do development tournaments, and we just we're just building up our team that when it comes to putting on fights, you find out now here's a guy that needs a keep busy fight because he come from Mexico and a bad experience. Not that he was outboxed, but he lost, and it wasn't a great fight for him. Now to build up his confidence and get him back in it, now we've put him on the bill. You understand? So, but that's fantastic because he's one of our fighters, and he's ready to be also hit the world stage because he's ranked. He lost his ranking a bit because of the last fight that he lost, but it was such a close fight that you got to accept it. But now you got to build him up again. So we're excited to have him on, and that's one thing about Colin. He knows where to put a fighter and who to match him against. And I mean, DJ went 10 rounds with this boy. So he comes to fight, this guy. So Sequence will have to be on top of his game, but it's good for the tournament.
Yeah, you mentioned him fighting DJ Creel, so you kind of had a scout of what he's about. I'm expecting him to give Sequence some good rounds as well. Do you foresee the fight going the distance? Just as a I'd say neutral, but you promote Sequence. So. Yeah,
I would like to see the fight go the distance because the trouble people don't realize when you put a boxer on a tournament and he takes the guy out in 2 rounds. And he's had a fight 4 months ago. Now he's in 4 months. The last fight he did 3 rounds. Now he's done 2 rounds. You want your guys to improve. How do they improve? They don't improve by knocking the guys out. And for the people that come to watch, they want to watch the sport of boxing. They want to see these guys compete against one another. So for me, if it goes rounds, that's what it's about.
And then talk to us about the competition that's still running. We've got still voting online and all of those initiatives that people can look forward to.
Still always available, Fight of the Night, because it adds a different dimension to the tournament. And people are, like the last lot we had close on 6,000 people coming onto it. So that will continue. And we just need to, after this one, have to order more belts because we've run out of belts. But we've got one for this tournament. So yes, it is. It's some initiative that's paying dividends.
All right, and then you just want to give maybe a message to the fans out there that to either come watch or watch it on television, whichever.
For sure. So it will be shown on the Zone, and it's Friday night. But again, with Vision View, it will be on the streaming platform. And one of the new things that we're doing, we always try and do new things. So there's a school boxing club that 2 of our fighters train with, Donnie Dupree. And Donnie runs the gym at Dower Glen High. And they got quite a big following of boxers. And so what we're busy talking to them about is on the night to actually give them the stream of the fight and let them show it on a big screen in the hall. So the kids can come and watch it, and parents can come watch with, and get the interest of boxing because they have a gym there, and they have these guys that fight amateur. So if they can't get to Boyson's, they can watch it. So that's something new that we're going to be trying. I was with Donnie yesterday, and we discussed it. I just got to pass it past the headmistress yet. I hope I'm not speaking out of turn, but that's our plan, to discuss it with her, and hopefully that we'll be able to do that. And then of course it'll be shown on the Zone, which is fantastic, And then just before I finish off, I'd also like to thank Network X for coming on board and taking these boys on and giving them the ability to worry about their training only, not about their transport, their rent money, the food and all of that. So it just changes the dynamics of the fighter's mindset. And they don't know what they've done to these 2 guys. It changes lives. It really does. And of course, from Boxing 5's point of view, October is something we're looking forward to. We're taking 2 guys to Japan to fight for world titles. Not just fight, we've got the special one, Sivan Onchinga, to defend his world title, and we've got our new signing, Pumelela Kafu, to go and prove that those 4 titles that his opponent has got, he's deserving of. When he's got this one, he's after the next 3.